Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Deck Profile. Beast Fighter Pile.
Chapter 1.
So, let's talk about this deck. And in this video, I'll be talking about the Beast Fighter Pile deck and what it is, how it translates in Yu-Gi-Oh! And my ideas that I've had with this deck. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
And as you can see in front of you, here is the list for the Beast Pile Fighter deck. So as you can see in front of you, it's essentially just Tri-Brigade, Gladiator Beast, and Brotherhood all fused together to create this fantastic deck.
Chapter 3. Chapter 4.
And now, let's showcase you some playtesting and the overall ideas I have for this deck.
Okay then, so let's do some test hands. Draw. Fire Formation Tanky, draw. Tri-Brigade Raw, draw. Tri-Brigade Revolt, draw. Tri-Brigade Kit, draw. The last card, Flavian Colosseum of the Gladiator Beast. Now, with that being said, let's go into, a typical hand and how it'll be, and obviously a typical board. Let's continue. Okay, so let's begin. First, we're going to activate the effect of Flavian. Flavian's going to be activated. The effect of Flavian is not on its activation, but I can discard one card. So I'll be discarding the Tri-Brigade Roar, going to the graveyard, allowing me to add a Gladiator Beast monster from my deck to my hand. So I'll be adding Gladiator Beast Gistel. Next, I'll activate the effect of Fire Formation Tanky. You can see there at the bottom there. You can see here. We'll put in there with it there. And then we'll continue. So Tanky will allow me to add a Beast Warrior. So the Beast Warrior I'm going to add is Fractal. Right? I'll use Fractal's effect. And here's where it's important. If Fractal gets hit, well, we are in a bit of a mess. But anyways, hopefully if it's not hit, we will use its effect, send it to the graveyard. We will send, with its effect, Nerval. Nerval will allow you to add a Tri-Brigade monster, which will be Keras. Okay? There we go. Next, we'll activate the effect of Keras in our hand, special summoning it, there, by discarding a Beast Warrior Winged Beast. So it will be Kit. Kit's effect will activate. When it's sent to the graveyard, I can send a Tri-Brigade spell or trap from my deck to the graveyard. We will send Rendezvous. Okay? Then, we will activate the effect of Keras by banishing two Beast Warrior Winged Beast from our graveyard, which we will do so. Allows us, so we'll banish these two, allowing us to link summon a link 2 Beast Warrior Winged Beast. And so that will be Bearbrum, right? Bearbrum will be put there in the extra deck zone as we will showcase there. Okay. Now, what we will therefore do is we'll therefore normal summon, because we have a normal summon this turn, Gistel, right? Gistel will be normal summoned, and it will be right there. So you can see that there. Everything is all on the up and up. Then we will link summon those two and make Test Panther, okay? Right. Test Panther's effect allows us to add a Gladiator Beast card from our deck to the hand. We'll add Gladiator Beast Comeback. Okay? There we go. We'll activate Comeback there. Bringing back Gistel right there. Activate the effect of Test Panther. Returning that back into the deck. Allowing us to get back into Gistel once again. Gistel's effect will activate, meaning that we can add a Gladiator Beast spell or trap from our deck to the hand. And so we are going to add, at this point in time, Gladiator Beast War Chariot. And then we will set that card. Okay? In our hand, we will have Revolt. We will then set that as well. So that will be the final card. And then in the end phase, the effect of the Flavian, the field spell, since a Gladiator Beast monster, as you can see here, was returned and special summoned from the deck, we can set a Gladiator Beast trap from our deck to the graveyard. From our deck to the field, sorry. And that will be Gladiator Beast Charge. So let's review what's on the field. Charge is here, meaning that we can pop a card on our opponent's turn. We have Chariot, meaning that we have one monster negate. We have Revolt, meaning that we can go into Shireg Ominous Omen on the opponent's turn to banish a card. Pretty much. And then, since we will use these as a link summon for those two, Nerval will allow us to add any Gladiator Beast monster. And finally, Kit will allow us to send a Tri-Brigade spell or trap from our deck to the graveyard. Finally, if you remember, Rendezvous is in the graveyard. And Rendezvous' effect is that if it would be to be banished, it banishes itself, if Beast Warrior Winged Beast would be destroyed if it is linked. Okay? And so that would mean that Test Panther would be okay, and you get the general idea. And that's generally it. Pretty nice board, all things considered, given the fact that we didn't start with a great hand. Let's go to another test hand and see how things go from there. Okay, and here's test hand number 2. Draw Tri-Brigade Nerval. Draw Tri-Brigade Kit. Draw Gladiator Beast Laquiari. Draw Flavian, the Gladiator Beast. And draw Gladiator Beast Gistel. Okay, that's the hand. Let's go and showcase to you a typical combo with this deck. Here we go. So things are going to be a little bit different as we have a better hand than before. First, we will activate the effect of Gistel. We will reveal it, right? And another Gladiator Beast monster to our opponent to special summon itself. Its effect, when it's special summoned with a Gladiator Beast monster, by its own effect, we can add a Gladiator Beast spell or trap from our deck to our hand. And at this point in time, we're going to be adding Gladiator Beast Rejection. Remember this card, as this is a card that will be very useful in this combo. We will activate that there. Now, Rejection's effect, before I continue on with going with this combo, is that when a Gladiator Beast monster, you can see they special summon from your main deck, you can special summon a Gladiator Beast monster from your deck with a different type and attribute, right, for a monster you control. Remember this, as this will be useful later. Okay, we'll go there, right there. Then we will activate Flavian, the field spell. We will then use Flavian's effect. We will discard a card, which will be Nerval, allowing us to add a Gladiator Beast monster from our deck to our hand. And the only Gladiator Beast monster we're going to add at this point in time is going to be the one, the only Gladiator Beast E-Quest, right? There we go. Very interesting. So, and Nerval adds ourselves, obviously, at this point in time, Keras, because it was a chain link 2, and this was chain link 2, and this is chain link 1. You can obviously do it in whatever order that you like. It doesn't really matter at this point, and Keras is added. At this point in time, we're going to activate the effect of Keras, discarding Kit from our hand, special summoning it. The effect of Kit means this allows us, right, to send a Tri-Brigade spell or trap from our deck to the graveyard. Now, at this point in time, if you get ashed, it's not a big deal, as we're still okay. As you can chain link one or two with the Kit, but it is what it is. But if you don't get ashed, you're gonna send Rendezvous. Given how your deck is, or if your hand is pretty good, you could also send a Tri-Brigade Oath, meaning that if you control a Beast Warrior Wing Beast, control 3 types, you can get a spell or trap negate While this is in the graveyard, you control those 3 types. But anyways, always, you will always send Rendezvous. The reason why you always say Rendezvous is that if a linked beast or beast warrior, winged beast would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this instead. Not only does this protect your board from destruction and by battle, it also triggers your gladiator beast monsters, which will generally be on the field, meaning that in the battle phase, you will get to activate their effects. Alrighty then. So we're going to be sending the Rendezvous. Now at this point in time, this is how your hand looks like, okay? And so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to then use the effect of Keras, right? Banish those 2 in order to link summon, you know our boy, the one, the only, we know and love him, Bear Brum. So we will then leave Bear Brum right there. As you can see there in the extra monster zone. Alrighty then. Then we will link summon with those 2. You know what we're going to get. We're going to get Test Panther. Now, the fantastic thing about Gladiator Rejection as it protects Gladiator Beast monsters, from targeting. Unfortunately, Test Panther is not a Gladiator Beast monster. And so here's where your first weakness of this deck is. This can get impermed, this can get veiled, all manners of things can happen here. But yeah, if you get hit at this point in time, tough, it is what it is, but there's still a way to get about it. You still have your normal summon, so it's not the end of the world here. An imperm is gonna hurt, a Veiler is gonna hurt, but you still have a normal summon, so there's still a way you can still use Test Panther's effect depending on what you're hit. But it's really tough if you get hit with a hand trap here, especially with Panther. Anyways, you'll use Panther's effect on summon, allowing you to add a Gladiator Beast card, and always you'll always add Comeback, right? Comeback is always a card you will add. Unless you don't have Rejection, and Comeback is in your hand, then you will add Rejection, right? And if your hand is exceptionally good, then you'll usually add a Gladiator Beast spell or trap. At times, you'll also add the field spell as it's a Gladiator Beast card. Anyways, you add the Comeback, right? Try not to use your normal summons as you're going to use the effect of Comeback, right? Comeback will be used, bringing back the Gistel, right? There we go. Okay. You'll Gistel, right? Use Gistel. You'll use the effect of Test Panther, returning it back into the deck, and that will be classed as a Gladiator Beast card. And so you will special summon Augustus, right? And the effect of Augustus, so chain link 1, the effect of Rejection activates. First of all, the effect of Rejection first, meaning that you'll special summon a different type, which will be, you know and love it, which will be Noxious, right? Noxious will get special summoned. The effect of Augustus means you'll get Equest onto the field. And because this was special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you'll bring back the Comeback, which you might need for later, right? You will then fuse, as you'll need 2 level 5 or higher Gladiator Beast monsters. Fuse them, return them back into the deck, to special summon Gladiator Beast Editor. And I want to say this, and I want to say something very clear. You are not beating the Nibiru allegations. If Nibiru is dropped, you are going to be losing. Unfortunately, with the way the Beast Pile Fighter is constructed, until you get the Regenesis monsters that allow you to get you negate before the 5th summon, you are losing to Nibiru. Anyways, you're going to activate, you're going to special summon Editor. Editor's effect, allowing you to special summon, if nothing's gone wrong, to get the Dominicianus, which will give you your monster negate. Okay? And that's about it. At this point in time, what you're going to do is you're going to link summon with these. You're going to link summon with this, this, and this. Link those 3 to allow yourself to to get Scareclaw. This will push these to defense mode. The effect of the Bear Brum activates, meaning that it'll allow you to add a Tri-Brigade spell or trap, which will be Revolt, and then you'll return the Laquiari, you see that, back into your deck, right? Hey, presto. You will then set the Revolt, okay? And then you would end your turn. The effect of Flavian would activate, meaning you would therefore send, since a Gladiator Beast monster was returned from the deck and special summoned, you would set Charge, right? There. So let's look at this board and talk about it. If you're uninterrupted, you will end with Revolt, like before, meaning that you have access to Omen, meaning that you can banish a card on the opponent's side of the field on the opponent's turn. And remember, you will also get to send a Tri-Brigade card, so you could send either Oath or the Rendezvous, given the situation, right? So you can send those. You could therefore use this, send that, with its effect as it's sent to the graveyard, which allow you to add the Keras, which is right there. There's loads of avenues here. So there's that to consider. Then the Tri-Heart means that all monsters your opponent controls will be in defense position, including yours. This gives you, right, this gives you, sorry, I didn't showcase it, a monster negate. This doesn't give you much, because you cannot use it on your turn. And this charge means you can pop 2 cards as you control 2 Gladiator Beast monsters. As charge means you can pop target cards or target face-up cards equal to the amount of Gladiator Beast monsters you control with different names. As you control 2 Gladiator Beast monsters, as you see, 2 of them, you see here, with different names, you can destroy up to 2 cards. Very, very nice. And another thing that's fantastic here is because Rendezvous is in the graveyard, if your opponent somehow manages to battle, even though their cards are in defense mode, guess what? If it has a 3,000 defense, I know, but majority of the time they're going to try and battle this or destroy this. Guess what? You'll protect it by banishing this in your graveyard. You know what that means? You enter the Gladiator Beast field. As now you've set things up, so Editor will activate, returning back into the deck, special summoning, you know the deal. Great board. And that's all there is to it. Chapter 6.
And here we are. The final grade I have for this deck is a B.
Is for bravery.
That's right, B. So it's higher than other decks because the potential for this deck is extremely high. Now, while it is a B, there's loads of things that can be done. However, you are going to lose to the usual suspects, which is Nibiru. Unfortunately, with the way the deck is, Nibiru is going to be a card you're really not going to be able to play around. Droll as well is going to be a card that's going to be extremely difficult to play around. Except those 2 cards, pretty much all other like hand traps, you can play around them easily. The reason why it's also a B is the fact that potential-wise, the art of breaking is really quite low in this deck, as it's a deck that is pure gas and just has unlimited powers, so to speak, so you can just go from strength to strength most of the times anyway. The side deck as well means you have loads of options of getting rid of things, and you have an interesting way of doing things which most people won't expect. While there's the usual suspects in the side deck, there's also some things there, some spice that is in there. With Regenesis, it could go to an A for potential as well. Add Regenesis in there, if you can add it, etc. There's just so many things you can do here. And Regenesis as well, if it's added in with the generic negate, and you've got something special there, and you've got a really consistent deck. So yeah, there's loads of potential, high potential in this deck. While the potential is really high, I definitely don't think you can take this deck competitively. While true, oh, I think you can. I actually think you can. Maybe I'm being a bit pedantic here, but I think you can. I think, is there a chance you can take this deck competitively? Yeah. Is there a chance that you'll succeed? Possibly, but I think a lot of edits need to be done. And I think a lot of changes and a lot of things maybe you need to do. But overall, I love the deck. It's really fun. It's great. It's fantastic. It's fun to play. It's great to play. It's just such a blast. I've been liking this deck as soon as I've made it. So yeah, that's about it. Let's head to the conclusion.
Final chapter.
And here we are at the conclusion. So all I've got to say is that with this Beast Pile fighter deck, that's what it's about. It's a deck that I created, had the idea, recently, and and the idea was if I could put Tri Brigade, Brotherhood, and Gladiator Beast with the new support all together, and each part of these three archetypes do something to fix the whole. And the idea was fantastic. All these archetypes work together really, really well. They all complement each other. And there are very interesting ways that I have spell negates. I have consistent spell negate. I have a monster negate, and there are very interesting ways of getting negates on this deck. There's very interesting ways that the deck can just surprise you, and the way it surprises players as well with how I defend myself, because reading. But in general, it's a really intuitive deck, and there are very many ways with how I deal with problems, which most players really don't really understand. It's definitely a knowledge check, for when stuff happens, because Tri Brigade is a deck now that is really quite old, and most players now haven't faced that deck for a very long time. So it's definitely a knowledge check with a lot of things, going on. With the fact that you have the Scareclaw card as well, meaning that the interruption that you have is kind of layered. While it may look small at first, there's loads of things that are there that players don't realize. Like a set revolt with a Scareclaw and, Domitianios on the field. That means there's only 3 cards there. But with those 3 cards, there's so much things that are going on. The fact that when you activate it, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field. Your opponent can't switch cards to attack mode simply because of the Scareclaw link, which is the link 3. You have a monster negate, and if you have Tri Brigade Raw, meaning that you can send another Tri Brigade spell or trap, meaning you can send Rendezvous again, allowing you to protect your beast warrior, winged beast by battle, or card effect destruction by banishing it into the graveyard. There's a lot of layered protection, a lot of layered stuff there that you don't really realize until you face the deck. So yeah, it's really quite interesting, and there's really loads of ways that the deck fights. Very interesting. And I think that's all I've got to say about this deck and what I've made. So tune in next time as I talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.